Pittsburgh Maulers have a brand new coach. TJ Vernieri joins the New Orleans Breakers coaching staff, and we're talking USFL marketing going into season 2. Up next on the USFL podcast.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to another amazing edition of the USFL podcast. I'm the ref representing USFL Newsroom, the number one source in USFL news. And I might add, Zachy boy, may I add, Zachy boy, creeping up close on that 5-year anniversary of the Newsroom brand. So, hey, here's what you guys need to do. Check us out next Wednesday. I don't even know what time. And quite honestly, Zach, I'm not even sure which channel. I think I'm going to do it on the other one. We'll put a link down in the description whenever I figure it out. But I brought up the name. I might as well properly introduce you. My co-host, as always, Zach Kyleman. How you doing today, my friend?
Life's good, man. I'm thrilled to just keep seeing more stuff on the pipeline here for the season 2 lead up, and just living my best life right now. I think I'm just gonna end with that, living my best life at this day and time.
I mean, it's hard not to as a spring football fan in 2023. Like I said, too many twos in 2022. We got threes. We got all sorts of things going on. We got XFL's kicking off soon, so I know a big chunk of our fan base is about that. Less than 3 months until the USFL kicks off, so we're getting hype about that. Hopefully news on spring stocks soon. But hey, as always, before we get into things, we got a couple of housekeeping items to get over. Social media, what are you doing at USFL Podcast? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Maybe one day we'll get over on that TikTok. But right now, you can go over there, find all the latest news, the grooves, all the new episodes. Hey, maybe I'll finally get that information when I'm going live. That's where you're going to see it. Get signed up over there. And hey, if you're looking at our lovely faces over on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And hey, do me a favor, click the bell. It builds morale. Get signed up. I'm telling you, it's a new year. I'm feeling good. Before the episode, Zach, what was I telling you? I was boo-hoo. I'm a sad little tired ref boy. No, all we got to do is hit the record button. Boom, I'm awake. I'm never going to sleep. Sleep is for suckers, and it sucks to be a sucker. And, go on, Zach.
I'm just saying, man. You say sleep is for suckers, but eventually we do got to catch some Z's, man. Got to reload that battery.
That is true. That is true. Now, here's the good news, though, for everybody else. Reloading batteries, hey, you're sleeping, you're not sleeping. We don't care. You could be the lucky winner. Once we hit 5,000 subscribers, you could be the lucky winner of a fresh, brand new, hot off the presses USFL jersey, personalized to whichever name you like. Could be your name, could be a player's name. We'll let you decide, but we got to get to 5K first. But in the meantime, we know you probably want to get some gear. And you probably want to save some money. Zach, eggs are crazy. Eggs are insane.
What's the deal with eggs right now? Prices, inflation. What is going on?
I can't speak on eggs, but I can speak for Breaking Tea, and I can speak on you saving 10 big old % by using coupon code USFL Newsroom. You can even just go to breakingtea.com/USFL Newsroom. It's going to take you to all the goodies and automatically apply that discount code along the way. Man, I'm feeling good. There you
Zach.
Go. Man. So, hey, before we get into the news, I'm going to shill something for you, too, real quick. Inside the Walls, I know some of these guys that are listening to us have to be down with the arena football. And all I'll say is next week, you're probably going to want to make sure you're subscribed to Inside the Walls podcast.
Well, you might want to.
It's going to be a fun episode. That's all we can say. That's all we can say. But I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss it. My man, Zach, my other man, Jim Vernieri. So a name that's so fancy to say, Jim Vernieri. Go check him out. What is the handle? Inside Walls Pod?
In Walls Pod for all your favorite social media. So yeah, check us out, man. It should be a great episode. We haven't done one in a minute, but just like the ref said, both of us are kind of on the same page here on this one. Yeah, like I said, you might want to be keeping your eyes out because some stuff's going to drop, and we're going to definitely talk about it. That's all I can really put out there.
The answer is always yes. So get signed up over there. Get signed up over here. And good news, it's time for the news. All right. Hey, the Pittsburgh Maulers, Kirby Wilson out, Ray Horton in. Big news, clearly. Big news. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people are undecided. What are your initial thoughts on this one, Zachy boy? I mean, this is some big news. Now here, let's just actually, before I get into opinions, what's the deal here, right? Why did he get fired? Did he resign? Personal reasons. Kirby Wilson has some stuff going on. And so you know what? I'm not even mad. I'm not going to judge anything like that. If anything, here's the thing. He filled an important role for the USFL in season 1. And I'm going to be the defender of Kirby Wilson, just like I was at the beginning of season 1.
Yes.
People need to cut that man some slack, man. I mean, he came in, he did the job. There was a couple movement. There were some things that he didn't have control over too with that team. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we saw Boogie Roberts put out a tweet and put some defense to that. And so I think that's important to call out before we jump into this, because I'm going to, just by seeing, I love memes. Sign me up. I'm a meme master. I love it all day and night. But I hope nobody was just going to assume we're going to be clowning on this, because let's just start it out like that, right?
Nah, I mean, I'm glad actually you kind of paused, because I was going to throw, and I will do this. It's pizza time now for the Pittsburgh Maulers. I got him. Oh, he's going to try to get a drink. Yeah, that's a perfect YouTube moment right there.
What happened here? We got some role reversal going on. I don't know.
I caught him right in the act. No, yeah, I mean, look, I that's probably the easy one. You know, I've seen a lot of those already. You know, it's pizza time in Pittsburgh again. You know, Pizzagate gets revenge or whatever you call it. I mean, for personal reasons, like for the reason being that is why Kirby Wilson is stepping away. All I gotta say is you just respect that decision. You know, dig in. I mean, you can speculate and dig whatever way you want. We can do a speculation zone if we want, but there's nothing we can really say beyond the personal reason amount. It's been very close to the vest, and usually that's what these situations are. So, you know, if anything, spinning it back to, I guess, his contributions last year, I'll be honest with you, you know, you're saying this and I'm saying it too, and there were a lot of people that are also echoing that they were kind of high on Kirby Wilson as a hire going in. I think that gets lost in the shuffle, as a lot of people thought, okay, you know, this guy's getting a lot of praise from, you know, upper management for the USFL. He's been one of those guys that, as you look at his resume again, we talked about this in an episode leading in to the coaches discussions last year. And he had been basically through the ringer everywhere. You know, he's a guy that you say for this level, okay, you know, if I'm looking for coaches that want that next shot, he was one that people thought, yeah, great pickup. And, you know, I'll admit, things didn't go his way. They did finish 1-9. You know, obviously United by Football, that first episode definitely struck a chord with a lot of people, and it kind of carried over. Hot Mike's help did not help his situation whatsoever. And, you know, it kind of led into some people thinking he should have been fired. He was not. He decided to resign on his own. Basically, the rhetoric that we've had all season, whether it was Jaron Horton, John Tomlinson, they all expected him back. So this was a surprise to everybody, I think, that he did step away. And I think I'm with you where at the very least, you got to credit the guy for at least taking a shot and, you know, at least filling a position that was needed for this first year. That being said, they're picking probably, you could argue, one of the best guys to fill it in, mostly because the personnel in terms of the rest of the coaching staff is pretty much staying the same. And it does help that you are the father of the defensive coordinator and you are a former defensive coordinator. So your job is already kind of solved because both of you are probably going to have the same defensive principles. Now it's about, okay, my son can run the defense. Let me focus on being a head coach. And as we've talked with Coach Tomlinson, he's going to be way more involved with the offense this year. So things will be different than last year. You aren't going to see Ray Horton calling plays. The setup is different going in. But you still got, like I mentioned with Kirby, you have to give him at least some credit, whether you like them or not. That coaching in any level of the sport is hard. And he got through a tough year, and he did have the respect of some of the top players on that team at the end.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm actually a little disappointed. I wanted to see Kirby come in and get that redemption season. I've been talking it up for quite a bit now. We're now starting to see people get on the Maulers bandwagon with the change of coach.
And all the signings that
was the key to me, is the amount of people that they were going after and just testing through and just saying, let's build this team. Let's take the pieces that we have, fix the pieces that we need to, right? And I mean, what better way to do it? Because we've talked a lot about Ray Horton, his family connections with the team. We've talked about Kirby Wilson. Ray Horton, though, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 1 as a player, 2 as a coach, right? And I think that's important here. 2 as a coach, right? And I do like the idea. He's player and coach, both time Super Bowl champion. But again, we've talked about this. These are the rehashing conversations, but of course it makes sense, right? When you're looking at, we assume that there was probably some time and period where the league had to say, okay, we need to fill this void.
Yeah.
Right. And you're looking at some potential candidates. I think I would assume that playing in the Super Bowl or coaching in the Super Bowl would be a nice have. Winning in both, I think is probably a very nice to have when you're really trying to run through the candidates. And this is very similar to the last time around. We had the coaching committee, right? So we had Daryl Johnston, we had Jason Garrett, we had John Miller, and Bill Polian, which again, when I saw that in the release, I said, oh, that's right. I forget Bill Polian. Again, one of these guys that seems to be tied in with a lot of these spring leagues, and here he is again in the back, in the shadows. But I really do love the idea of seeing the mixture of USFL guys, Fox guys, NBC guys, and even an outsider's perspective as they're looking to fill these roles. Right.
Well, and keep in mind too, this was the same group that picked up John DeFilippo back when that was that signing happened last year. So, or at least leading up this during the off season, but 2022. That's what I was trying to reference there to get things clear. So you are keeping a consistent base of what the vision is, I think, for people they're looking for. Bill Polian, just having that name in the room, being the legend that he is as a front office personnel man and also a talent acquisition guy. I mean, that is a wonders itself, but I think, again, like you're talking, reiterating that NBC, they do have a foot at the table here in a lot more decisions, I think, this season. Again, crowds. I mean, big reason you're going to see more hubs. And, it's not just because Fox wanted to expand, but NBC made it clear, again, in their end of season wrap up. TV numbers good. Let's see more people, though. And that means that they have an influence on how this works, because when you're the other TV partner, you got to keep the other guy happy. And they're going to have a say. So, and here's the thing with Ray that I will add on. I think this will help with some people if we're comparing, I guess, between Kirby and Coach Horton here, which, I'm doing this because we are looking, okay, who's coming in now? So one thing that I think stuck out with Wilson that I think it wasn't as often said, but some people did bring it up, was Wilson had not done an official coordinating capacity during his NFL tenure. Mainly was a running backs coach. He had plenty of opportunities and, got to know many of the assistant positions in the NFL. And, as it's been discussed, he has called plays in the past at a limited capacity too. That being said, you're bringing in a person that has run the coordinator position and has basically been that one step below where a head coach is at. And so, had been in that spot for, 4-5 seasons in the NFL, under some solid talent. One of them being Ken Wisenhunt, who, as we know, almost took Arizona to a Super Bowl back in the day, during his tenure. So it does say that I think you have some solidified higher up caliber guy, or at least talent, and a former player again that also comes onto this roster as well. Not to mention, fun little fact, he did end up being on that Super Bowl 27 championship roster with Daryl Moose Johnston as well.
Right.
Keep that in mind. Just a fun little nugget. If you want to talk comparisons.
And, I was pleased to see, he spent a little bit of time in Detroit with my beloved Lions.
Yes.
So, sign him up there. Speaking of Daryl Johnston, though, we got some quotes here. I think he might even touch on that matter here. So he says, "We are thrilled Ray Horton is joining the USFL family as the new Pittsburgh Maulers head coach." Goes on to say he helped the Steelers win 2 Super Bowls as an assistant coach, so Pittsburgh football fans know him, which I think is important here. Now, we don't know officially where the hubs are going to land, but again, the end goal is to get these teams in their cities. So maybe it's season 2, maybe it's season 3. I assume Ray Horton's going to be here for the long haul, at least. Well, it's weird. I don't know if it's an oxymoron to say the long haul for the short term, but you get where I'm going here. At least enough to where they could possibly expand. I think that will be important for them. And if maybe the rumors are true and Canton serves, Pittsburgh's not too far, so maybe that'll draw in some extra fans right there. He also goes on to say he also won a Super Bowl as a player, and my teammate, Daryl Johnston's, not mine personally, on the 1992 Dallas Cowboys. Ray is a great leader and an even better person, and I'm excited to be teammates with him once again, which, man, do you love it or not?
Oh, I absolutely do love it. There's no question about that, and again, Daryl, I think that's one thing, I'll give praises. Dude has been an excellent, basically the excellent front man that he has been for the league so far. This quote definitely delivers everything you need here. And again, something that I'm glad you brought it up too, and this was something that was kind of important, I think, and crucial to Wilson's connection when he was brought in. It's a Pittsburgh guy. It's a Steelers guy. Horton also same deal here. You're bringing in a Steelers guy that formerly was on this roster for 6 years, mind you, too. Between 2004 and 2010 as the secondary coach back at that time. Won Super Bowls with this group. Those were dominant teams back in that era for Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin still was winning games, of course, but that was a dominant and prime era for Steelers fans during that kind of early years of Ben Roethlisberger, hard hitting years of Ryan Clark and company back there, Troy Polamalu. You think about that. So, and he's joining a defense that was already formidable. His son helped build that up with Kirby, and they're going to be even more formidable, you can argue, next year possibly with what they've added. So bringing some hard-nosed football, that's got to be great. If you don't mind, I would love to read Coach Horton's comment.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Or at least on the PR
100%.
here.
Real quick before you do, I do want to point something out about Super Bowl XL. Do you know who else was on that team?
Oh, give me a second here. You can give me like a 10-second countdown, and then I'm going to have to pass on it, and I'm going to kick myself probably.
He is a Spring League player.
Oh, shoot.
From 2001.
From Spring League player from 01.
From I think the Los Angeles Extreme. I'm almost positive.
Oh, you're talking XFL. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Tommy Maddox was on that one. There. Yes, he was the backup. Yep. That's right.
So again, I know not directly Spring League tied, but you know me. I'm making connections where they don't even need to be.
Look, I'll be honest. Maddox, he had a solid career just getting in, had some starts, had a good backup career. He was one of those poster boys again in the earlier days of the 2000s for a different alternative league. So I'll give shout outs.
There we go. Sign him up.
I'll throw it on there.
All right. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go into the quotes.
No. That's good. I'm glad. Look, hey, you're queuing me up. I'm glad I got that one down. But I will give Coach Horton's quotes here. So here it is. Quote: I'm humbled to join the USFL as the new Pittsburgh Maulers head coach. Quote: we are returning a solid core from one of the best defenses in the league, which I also agree with again, including all USFL safety Bryce Tornan and Pittsburgh native Trey Tarpley, as we look for the next great quarterback in the USFL. I'm also excited about our returning offensive core. We will stay focused on delivering a USFL championship to Pittsburgh Maulers fans. And honestly, he brings up a great point with the QB part. Again, they were pretty fierce, and some of those guys weren't returning, like Roland Rivers and now Vad Lee, who's, by the way, over with the BC Lions in the CFL. You know, they still are going to have a pretty hotly contested QB battle for at least three guys that they've signed on, including James Morgan, who returned from practice squads over in the NFL. He is back with that team. He's going to be taking on at least with, Troy Williams, Chase Forcade over there. So should be a fun time. But yeah, pretty accurate quote there.
100%.
I think it's lays everything out. And yes, I repeat it. That defense, it's going to be formidable. They were good. That was their shining portion last year, was that defensive unit. And they're bringing guys back that are hard hitters and some new faces too, that I think it's going to be the same stout D. Can they get it on the offensive side? That's the question.
I'll tell you this, Zach. I'm so close to becoming a full bandwagon Maulers fan. I feel like,
fascinating.
I have no shame. I think we've all figured this out in the first season by me even debating a team to choose, right?
You just want exciting football. You're just going to follow. I mean, you still obviously have your homer in the gamblers,
yeah.
But I mean, you want to see some explosive play. That's what I'm tracking.
Yeah,
here.
I have some confidence in this Maulers team, and I do like the idea that I said last year that I think that they might be able to turn it around this year. And now things might be shaping up that way. It's not just one thing. It's not just the coaching change. It's not just the mass number of signings they've been doing in the offseason. It's kind of a mixture of all things in between and just the different types of movements that they're doing that, boy, they're going to make it interesting in the North. I remember last season, in the first half of the season, people kept saying, well, the South Division is the division in the USFL, right? There was a lot of focus on the Breakers, a lot of focus clearly on the Stallions. I don't know, man. We could have some beat 'em up football up north now with the Stars, the Maulers here. If they come to fight, man, we could see a real, almost like the NFC North. I feel this could turn out to be. And I mean, who wouldn't love that? Who wouldn't love that? Now, we will switch in here. Let's go over Kirby Wilson because he does have some comments here in the release as well. So he says, due to personal reasons, it's with a heavy heart that I've resigned as head coach of the Pittsburgh Maulers. Goes on to say, I want to thank the USFL, Daryl Johnston, and the football support staff, but especially my assistant coaches and players. I had a wonderful experience during the history-making first year of the USFL. I will forever be grateful and forever a fan of this professional league. Thank you for believing in me and for providing an opportunity. I don't even know what the term is. I can't even talk. It's choking me up that much, Zach. In all reality, I just need some water here. But
well, yeah, you could probably use a sip. All I could tell you with that, again, whatever you think about Kirby Wilson, like I said, I think folks that watch this show, they definitely have their opinions. Folks in the community in alt football or the USFL community, they have their opinions too. But at least the guy got to do one of his goals in life where he got to be a head coach. He at least got to say that he has no regrets that he got to try it now. And I thought last year, even through all that turmoil and all that, it looked like he was enjoying himself and at least getting to live something that he was proud of. So, again, whatever you think of the guy, that's your personal opinion, but hats off to him getting to do what he wanted to do and love. I got to give him that at the very least.
100%. And, we talked about, United by Football. Early in the season, there was a lot of focus on that one episode. But if you watch subsequent episodes of United by Football, you could kind of see that Kirby Wilson cared about his players. All the coaches did. Let's be honest here. But Kirby Wilson seemed to have a real connection with some of those guys out there. And I mean, like I said, if he didn't, I don't think somebody like Boogie Roberts or some of the other guys that have come out would have even said anything, right? They would have just let it be where it is. So again, I'm glad he was there because I mean, you got to have somebody, you got to build somewhere. I'm glad he came through, and you know what? I want to see him come through again in the future too. Let's see that revenge season from Coach Wilson. Maybe we'll see. We'll just see how everything plays out. Never say never in the wacky world of spring football. Any other thoughts on the Ray Horton situation before we move into another coaching hire here?
Not much, honestly. Welcome Coach Horton to the USFL. I think it's pretty cool storyline that they're going to use. Most likely the father-son duo being there. I hope to see a good chunk of stuff with the Maulers social on that. If and when that does happen, most likely when it happens, by the way. And things are solidified. At least it was a quick turnaround. That's what's nice. It wasn't a waiting game. Things were kind of slid in, and it's pretty status quo. That was what's pretty nice compared to us kind of waiting on the balls of our feet there, to wait for John DeFilippo. This time kind of was a smooth transition. For sure.
Oh, there would have been some antsy Maulers fans, and I just think fans in general, this close, I guess, to the season. Again, we're less than 3 months.
Yeah, that's true.
But again,
too.
having that smooth transition, I think, it helps that you're going into your season two as well. Season two too, but season 2 as well, right? Maybe if it's your first season, somebody might look at that and say, oh my God, you haven't even hit the field. You lost a coach. Again, there's some circumstances here. But going into a season 2, a little bit different scenario. But we mentioned we got a little bit of other coaching news. So maybe not the whole bells and the whistles of, a head coach for the Maulers. But I think this is a pretty cool hire here, actually, when you dig into it a little bit more. TJ Vernieri joins the New Orleans Breakers as the tight ends coach and the offensive quality control. Now, this dude is young, Zach. Now it makes sense because who's the youngest coach in the USFL? That'd be our boy, Loose Lip Flip. Sign him up. Mm-hmm. Which I should probably, that's not nice. I shouldn't say that. Coach DeFilippo, Coach Flip. I promise I'll stop calling you that name. But he's got TJ Vernieri here, who, again, I mentioned he's young, but he's got a pretty decent resume already, man. Our friends up north would probably recognize him the most because he just comes off 2 years with the Calgary Stampeders. Last year, what was he? Running backs coach, and then he was offensive assistant going into that.
Right. Well, hey, talk about a lead up. Dude's all academic. Was playing at University of Connecticut only just 6 years ago. So, that's an up and up swing if you're talking about from college into the pros with the CFL. Calgary Stampeders. I'll be honest, they had, from what I have recalled, at least in the years he was there, it's reasonable. They had reasonable rushing attacks with those times. I know Kadeem Carey is one of the best running backs in the CFL, former Bear, by the way, and I've been following his career. So that would be under his wing from my understanding. But yeah, talk about that. It's pretty young up and coming guy. And it's funny, he's kind of all over the place because he's kind of getting the whole trifecta of the offense, at least sans QB. We're getting basically all the skill positions. So, I think you built up right now, DeFilippo, he's got, they signed Davis Cheek. They got, of course, Akil Glass. So that'll be probably a fascinating QB battle right there. And then you're going to basically get more guys to help, I would assume, keep building his vision of an offense. And not only that, but you talk about quality control. So, offensive quality control, you're trying to, I think, kind of maintain what you want as kind of an OC mentality coming in. So, I think it's more like almost consulting in a way besides his assistant duties as well. Remember, John's never done a head coaching gig. So, guys that are going to get their first chance at this, the better you can get the support, the better chance you have at succeeding your first year. I mean, he's called plays. He's helped with, John DeFilippo's helped with several other positions and has been a QB guru of sorts in the NFL. But like I said, this is his first head coaching gig, and it's a legitimate professional league. So the more you can get guys surrounding you that, they know their stuff, or they can at least give you advice. TJ seems like he's very much has a bright mind in the sport for already kind of getting us up and up this far so far. The better you can get it to have a supporting staff like that.
Yeah, I mean, once I started looking into this dude a little bit more, because the news came out via Twitter from his personal account, which I love it. I mean, sign it up. I love seeing those types of things come through. Started looking a little bit more into them, and I had to even check. I was like, wait. Is this for real? Right? I had to make sure because, you never know. But, man, I love to see it. I love the young hires. I mean, the league is a league of opportunity, not just for the players, but for the coaches, the officials, the commentators, even in some instances, right? It was almost like a refresher course for Jason Garrett going in prior to his time doing some work for the NFL. And now, hey, look, he's on the head coaching search committee, which, I mean, hey, everybody's got a job with the USFL, and I kind of love to see it. I like the DIY nature of those things. And you know what? The young hires, those are the ones that are going to try innovative things, some things that maybe you haven't seen, maybe things you have seen, maybe a little bit of tweaks on things. They're going to go out there and do things their own way. And so now that we're seeing the breakers, I mean, we talked about TJ, but also as well, Coach Flip, again, the youngest coach in the league. I mean, we could see some real interesting high octane, if you will. I don't know why high octane is so funny for me to say, but I think it could be a high octane offense. It really could.
High octane is a good phrase. I think that should be used as often as possible if you are wanting to describe something like that. Because I mean, hey, I think of the offense as a vehicle. Right. Okay. You put in a good amount of octane mixture into your vehicle. If you want it as a sports muscle car, dragster, you're going to be getting off and speeding on your way down to win a football game or two if you just outscore the opponent alone. So keep that in mind. Something I want to see with TJ, and this is, I think, one of the bigger questions for the Breakers, is because, hey, they did lose their all-pro tight end, Sal Cannella. So you're going to have to see guys step up, or new signings have to step up. For example, EJ Bibbs going to have to be stepping up this year, or Justin Alexander Johnson from Mississippi State coming on in for the USFL as well. So those are two guys under the TE banner right now on the roster that he'll be coaching those guys up as well on the side. Again, that's going to have to replace production. Going to be hard, because Sal was was the best tight end in terms of pass catching and a receiving threat in the league last year. That's going to be a hard task to replace, but bright offensive mind. So, hey, maybe that helps that chance at least increase.
Right. And I mean, it gives us something else to look forward to with the ever growing free agent picks, off-season picks. And I mean, the draft, which is seemingly right around the corner, which you guys know we'll be going live again. So once we have the date and time, we'll tell you to mark your calendars. We'll put a little reminder up there, but we're going to have fun. And we're going to do it. Zach, I think we did a pretty good job last year doing it on the fly. To me, I wouldn't have it any other way. I want to be out there learning with you guys, the USFL fans. I mean, I love doing live shows just because we get like the real live chat, actually talking to you. I actually jumped into the premiere of our show last week, and somebody was like, "Oh, you're talking to no one. They never answer. This is just a premiere." And I went in there. I was like, "Until now," and I was like, got ya, got-y. I'm here. They didn't respond to me though. So what the heck, just made me.
Hey, maybe they just wanted to switch the roles.
There you go.
I think that's all it is.
Give me the silent treatment now, but
my turn.
So, I mean, great hires both on both accounts. We have a hire from the north, a hire from the south. Sticking to the south, though, we did have, this news made the rounds. I don't know if it got as much of an impact that maybe it should have. But something that came out this week was that Sullivan Branding announced a marketing partnership with the USFL. Essentially, they're going to help introduce the Memphis Showboats to that Mid-South market, which, I don't know, Zach, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm looking into things, but the USFL seems to be pretty invested in making this Memphis thing a thing, right? You know, they got the season tickets. We've seen a little bit of action from social media. I think it was even a couple weeks ago that a director of marketing was hired in that region. So, I mean, there's a lot of, they put a lot of work into Birmingham last year. I think they're going to be putting a lot of work into Memphis this year. And this seems to indicate that.
Well, I think that Memphis, remember, they're taking a swing. They switched an entire team over there too. But, if you're wanting to have signs of a serious commitment, so Sullivan, I think the reason this is big is that it's, they're based in Memphis. They know their market. They know, as the region's called, the Mid-South. That is one of their specialties is that they also do, if you go on their LinkedIn, also they do national and global marketing too, but they do a lot of regional marketing as well. So they know their market. That you want someone that's able to get in on the ground and kind of know who you're trying to appeal to. Now, part of that also, I think, plays into the fact that, hey, Memphis has been pretty, fan base seems pretty receptive about this, which, if we're looking at, okay, Birmingham, yeah, they came out swinging and were very strong last year. So, put 2 and 2 together. You're taking a swing with the Showboats here, a market that has been historically one of the most approached markets in spring football, and one that gets its brand that was pretty popular back in the day, back from the OG era. Then, yeah, I think you do want to invest a little bit more here and get someone that knows your audience as well and that can communicate with your director of marketing. Basically, you get in. Here's the thing, you get someone that probably is more closely local with the director of marketing, but it is good to have an outside agent to talk to. Some folks talk about echo chambers or, being within kind of in your own circle. It's nice to have that outside influence, that does say, okay, here's what we look at. Mm-hmm. We can give this insight. We can give a little more detail here as well. Say you want a different flavor, if you want a different viewpoint. That's how I look at the Sullivan setup here. Is it does brand, but it also helps where maybe it gets a little deeper or finds a different view that maybe Fox execs or personnel maybe didn't see when they come into something or approach an idea to helping bring in a crowd or more interest to talk about the Memphis Showboats and the USFL in that said market.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the key here is the local feel, because nobody's going to know the local market better than people that work and live and breathe in that local market. It actually reminds me of Major League Soccer when they were rolling out into the Portland area. Now, I don't live in Portland, but I do work with a lot of people in Portland, and they told me stories about how their marketing team essentially reached out to the community to take pictures in support of this league that hadn't even played a game. But if you won, you would get like season tickets, but they would use your pictures and billboards and things like that. But you ended up with all of these big burly, Portland people that look like they should be chopping down trees, holding big axes and things like that. And, I kind of love it. And it only worked out that way because the marketing agency working with the Sounders, I believe is their name. No, that's Seattle.
Portland Timbers out
thank
there.
You. Yes, the Timbers, of course, with the axes. Anyway, the marketing agency working with the Timbers was a very focused, targeted, local ad agency. Now, in that ad, but branding and marketing, this, I think, has the potential to have a very similar impact here, which, let's be honest, is what you're looking for when you're doing a partnership with anybody, right? You want it to be beneficial for both sides.
Sure. It's something we need to add. The league is, as many have stated, it's trying to churn up step-by-step stages of trying to get more things available, and I think pushing its brand after last year. So this is an essential step in my eyes, because it also adds a little more reinforcement to those that are going to be working in Memphis as well. It's not, again, you get a agency that is helping you with extra work as well as what you're going to bring in under your director of marketing banner under his or her personnel out there. So that's important to me. Again, I think as a fan, you want to be sure that, you're seeing that progress. That's a sign of progress. Yeah. It was brought up by Sullivan branding, but still, I mean, that's great. If you're a guy looking for more stuff like that, that's a great signing, or at least a contract to have for a local agency. Again, local. They understand the region. That is important, especially if you are trying to have a boots on the ground approach beyond just your social and web appearance.
Right. And I mean, they must have had a little bit of a shindig because we got a little bit of fresh ice cream, if you will, out of it. A little new scoop of something. Yes. We had Daryl Johnston, little video. Now, you ran a poll just based on this very comment over on on USFL podcast, at USFL podcast over on Twitter. Daryl Johnston, he said, I don't know about this whole boat. Is it boat people or boat boys?
Yeah, it's boat people.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
so he suggested Yacht Club. Now, the poll results, I'm actually surprised by this, Zach. 77.4 agree with them that the Yacht Club. Now, I thought I was going to be the outlier here because I kind of like a yacht club situation. I got the golf cart. I don't know if I'll ever be able to afford a yacht, but I can drive by them, and it makes you feel fancy. I didn't think, I thought boat people would win. This is 2023, Zach. I'm just going to be honest with you, but I will say, I thought it was boat boys, and I think of it as boat boys. Maybe we need another poll because I think boat boys would win if we were the boat boys. I mean, if anybody's looking to do, if anyone's looking to do a Showboat podcast, the Boat Boys is available, and I think it's a stand-up name.
My God.
So, what are your thoughts, Zach? What did you vote? Yacht Club or boat people?
I actually voted Yacht Club. And I think it's just because the name Showboat. I feel like if you're on a yacht, okay, you're gonna show off a little bit, That's kind of your style. You got some swagger about you. Credit, I know that it's referencing the classic river boats on the Mississippi. I get it, but still, I mean, hey, look. There's still some fancy riverboats out there. What I'm saying?
And I mean, what do you do with the winnings? You buy a yacht.
Right. Now, I'll give you one that I did like. Ace from USFL Network had a great response back. And keep in mind, the Showboats are hosting the Gamblers this season. So he actually came on and quote tweeted one of them and said, casino riverboats are pretty awesome, are pretty good too.
Yes. I like that.
Kind of did a wink nudge type
100%.
of deal. I love that. I'm going with Yacht Club. I think a lot of people liked it though, just because it's got a little more flair to it. So who knows? Maybe they saw that poll and maybe they saw Daryl Johnston's response, and now we can talk about Sullivan. Maybe like, right. Could we market that?
Oh, 100%.
Hey, what do you think? Should we market it this way? No. Will people be accepting of that?
I think they would. And I'll say there's no better person than to introduce that name than to Daryl Johnston, because I don't know if you watch him and when he covers those NFL games, I don't know, Zach, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I could pay. I don't know if there's an amount of money I could pay to dress as good as he does, which I would guess is probably very easy for him to do. But the last game this past weekend, I'm telling you, that dude was dressed very sharp. I want to say he had some Burberry action going on. I'm impressed.
Dude's got a good tailor. He's got a great tailor. Keep in mind, I mean, hey, look, he's running, of course, his VP duties, and he's also, helping broadcast playoff football games still. I mean, hey, show me another league where you can do both, because I don't see one right now that does announcing on Sundays, but then goes to work and helps build a league on Mondays. Like, I'm just saying.
In Daryl Johnston, we trust. I'm telling you.
In Daryl Johnston, we trust people.
Dude, man, Moose, man. I love having Moose on our team. Again, someone we've talked about in the past, got a lot of spring league experience. He knows the ins and outs, the do's, the don'ts. There's no other man that I would rather have kind of leading that charge. And like I said, he's dressed to the nines. Sign him up, dude. He's got some style. So, hey, we got one more topic here. Season 2, less than 3 months away. We've been seeing promos during the NFL. Nothing new, really. New in the regards of they debuted in the recent past, but nothing new as of late. But we have seen maybe a little bit of a sneak peek on some things to come, because now we've started seeing some backstage pictures of photo shoots of the head coaches, which, if you remember into the lead up of season 1, we had a few different things. Hey, draw the logo, explain this, explain that. And even the leagues just earlier this week, they started putting out some of the pictures of the coaches, which I'm going to tell you, bro. Skip Holtz loves the USFL. I mean, those pictures, he is so happy. Now, when you look up north, though, to Andrus, right? Is Andrus in there? Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah. So five of the coaches have been photographed so far. We'll talk about the 3 and maybe kind of hypothesize why yet at that point. But yeah, Andrus has been photographed. You've also had, besides Holtz, John DeFilippo, Mike Riley, and then you also had Kevin Sumlin.
Now, I'll tell you about Andrus' pictures. I had to do a double take. I thought I was I flipped through his pictures pretty quick, and I was like, wait, were those the same picture? And I'm going to tell you this. When you have some time, go analyze them. That dude is a stone cold killer. And all 3 of it, he's just like, man, I feel like he is thinking about, like, he's going to hurt you or his friend is going to hurt you. He looks like a mobster. But his face, I almost feel like you could crop his face and superimpose it over all 3 of those pictures, and they'd be pixel perfect.
I'm looking at it now, and you know, there's some people, they can hold their smile exactly the same no matter what picture it is. He is one of those folks. I'm not joking. If you're watching or listening to us right now, head on over to the USFL Stars on like one of their social accounts and just check it out. No joke. I see what you're saying. Dude holds the exact same emotional expression in each of the shots.
And they're all scary.
It's almost uncanny. It's almost uncanny to me how it is. It almost looks like it's a wax figure.
I'm telling you, I'm not joking. I had to do a double take because I just flipped through them pretty quick, and I was like, wait a minute. Was there actually different pictures? And I looked at it, I was like, my God, sign him up. I wish. I could barely smile. I just look like a goofball when I try most of the time. But yeah, dude, he is. I would buy a car from him. I'll tell you that. Dude, I would buy so many cars from this dude. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. So anyway, I love to see it. And you know what that just means? That there's more stuff to come. People are getting antsy. Little under 3 months to go. But I just feel like, you know, just like last year, there was announcements, a little bit of a lull, and then it was boom, 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 rapid fire left and right news. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, Zach. I feel like we're on the precipice of something, the calm before the storm. And this would make sense to be happening in the lead up to that.
Right. And, you know, this does track with a rumor that coaches were meeting up in Los Angeles this past week to probably discuss season 2. So, hey, you know, if you're in LA, right, if that is the case. And I would think stuff's going to be coming soon. Look, it's coming into late January. So you do have some news that you have to drop. Clearly, we are all waiting on either official confirmation on things that are basically have been said to death or stuff that we're hoping to hear in terms of the hubs. Something else I keep in mind, and thank you folks on our Discord for bringing this up. The Stallions hub last year was officially announced on January 25th last season. Now, does that mean that it's all going to get announced next week, or, you know, it's going to be dropping the same time frame? No, but, you know, if I were a guy sitting here and thinking, hey, if the league liked the amount of lead up last year, maybe I try again.
Right.
So I'm kind of sitting here thinking, you know, late January, early February. That isn't too crazy to me.
Well, and I mean,
it's not. It's not crazy.
And let's be honest here, they're already a little bit ahead of schedule of that. If you add in the fact that we know Birmingham and they've announced a second hub in Memphis to where, if they announce next week in that same time frame, this is really even a step ahead of where they were last time around, because now we're, potentially adding 2 more hubs, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, hey, we're all here hoping. Hopefully, we'll be. Well, actually, I guess I'll say now, I'm not going to be on next week's episode. So if the news drops, Zach will be here. We'll have a guest host filling in. We'll figure somebody out. So hey, if you guys want to wait, sign you up. If you don't, I get it. I need some time off. The ref is a tired boy.
Some people, you don't realize his job outside of here, he does a lot. Some of the work discussions, you would definitely be like, my guy, you've been needing a vacation for God knows how long at this point. So it's well earned. No matter what happens whatever we do a show, if it's next week, you'll deserve that time, my friend. And it's good. It's good for you. Get some relaxation under your belt.
I told you what I'm doing during our normal recording time, right? Ooh, man,
yes.
We have a taste testing, or I don't know what it's really called. It's not a food convention, but it's like they call it Taste of the Town. They have not all, but a lot of different restaurants go to like a convention center, and it's like a $30 ticket, but every restaurant has like little sample plates. I don't drink anymore, but if I did, you get beer there too, which I don't know, maybe I'll have 1 or 2. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not like, whatever. I like to have fun. Girls aren't the only ones that want to have fun. Get over it. But anyway, they're going to have a whole bunch of good food. I'm excited for that. And it's not just like Burger King and Pizza Hut. Like they have the high end establishments, and it's a great way because I'll be honest with you, Zach, I'm one of these guys that I order the same thing on the menu because I know I've had it and I know I like it, because there's nothing that I hate more. I told you I'm cheap, Zach. I'm a cheap bastard.
Certainty of a good meal. That's what I'm
exactly. Yeah. I want to know. I want it to be guaranteed. And then if it's bad, then I know that it is on them because I've had it before and it's good. So this is a great way for me to like try things out, try different things. See, like banh mi. People, I've been looking at banh mi forever. I said, hey, that looks pretty good. I tried it. I didn't like it. Now I'm so glad I didn't waste $6, $7. That's $6, $7, Zach. I'm telling you, look at The Rock. That $6, $7 could be me. I could have an energy drink. I could have a football company. I could have all this stuff if I didn't spend that $6, $7 on banh mi, because we all know The Rock, he only had $7 in his pocket before this whole thing. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. You never know what that $6 or $7 is going to amount to. And to me, it wasn't worth a banh mi sandwich. I don't know.
Yeah. But just to clarify, banh mi, you're talking like the Vietnamese style sandwich.
Yeah, with
right?
like little carrot slices and all that.
Yeah. See, that's interesting. I've liked those because I gotta. I guess it's kind of we'll consider this a wrap up for the food portion here. But like, I got a nice Vietnamese place down the way called Pho Saigon. Real good banh mi that I've had there. Also, some of the noodle dishes also pretty good. But yeah, I mean, look, I get it. Okay, I mean, here's my thing. This is the crux to my diet problems I have is sometimes I'm that dude that sees like the special, like for a limited time only, like style burger or chicken sandwich that shows up I'm a fast foodie, and I'm like, well, I gotta have it. It's not gonna come back. I gotta go see it.
I'm kind of there with you, dude. I love gimmicks. Gimmicks are my favorite thing. I mean, there was something real dumb. Well, I'm really kicking myself for not getting what was the KFC one, where it was 2 pieces of chicken with like a piece of cheese in the middle.
The double down.
KFC. Come on, guys. Bring this back. I need it. I need to try this thing out. I'm so mad that I didn't do it.
America needs this now.
To give me the quadruple down.
In a world where eggs circling that back.
No eggs.
In a world where eggs have skyrocketed.
Yeah, just eat the chicken. You know what I mean? Double down. All in, if you will.
All in. The official sandwich of the Houston Gamblers. The double down.
Good episode. Good fun. I don't think there's really anything else to cover this week. And I mean, at the point what we're talking about, double downs and food conventions, and I don't know. I think we might be at the end of the rope on this one. Any parting words? Any last thoughts though before we ride into the sunset? And look forward to some more news, hopefully in the near future.
All I could say is swerving back now after ending on KFC double downs would just seem to some people probably wrong on here. No, you're going to news. You went through all that double down talk. No, but look, all I got, same deal as always. I'm just looking forward to season 2. And I mean, like we were talking at the end, news has to be around the corner here. It's coming to late January. The league's got to know it. And soon enough, we know plenty of stuff that's been rumored or has been leaked by local press. So soon enough, that is going to be officially let go, and then we can finally go, yes, celebration time.
Yes, and have a big old episode. And like I said, so many things to look forward to here in the near future. Beyond potential hub news coming in the near future, like I said, we have the draft, we have training camps, and we have kickoff all in less than 3 months, and hopefully soon we'll be talking about the talk of the town. Everybody keeps asking me, Ref, come on, give me the deets. I need to know about this spring stock. What's going on? And hopefully soon, we'll bring that information right to you, because like I said, boy, oh boy, are we having some interesting conversations on some potential plans. Now, here's what I want to know, Zach. Should we call it Spring Stock 2 or Spring Stock 2023?
That's hard. Because there's a third option to me, 2.0.
Okay. All right.
But I think if you wanted to, honestly, if we aren't going to pick the 2.0, I'm slightly favoring putting the year after it.
Here, how about this? You guys listening to the show, let us know down in the comments below if you're here over on YouTube, or if you're not listening, go and put it in the comments over on our social media post about this episode. Let us know. Spring Stock 2, Spring Stock 2.0, Spring Stock 2023, or if you want to put your own suggestion in there, sign you up. I'm not going to be angry at that as well. We love the fans. We love the USFL community, and we can't wait to get signed up with y'all again. That's all I could say there. That's all I could say. So you know what, Zach? I think I'm going to wrap it up like that. Before we really head out, social media, you guys know the drill at USFL Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, maybe the TikTok soon. We're going to get the dances ready. We just got to get them lined up. But in the meantime, you can find us in those other avenues. If you're checking us out over on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Click the bell. It builds morale. It's going to get you signed up. Like I said, less than 3 months until the USFL kicks off. Season 2 is right around the corner. No better time to get some morale than now. And once you got some morale, you can get some more morale and a discount, 10 whole big old percent off of Breaking Tees using coupon code USFL Newsroom. And hey, you can even get all the products by going to breakingtea.com/USFL Newsroom, and it'll automatically apply the discount. Make it nice and simple, short and sweet, and getting signed up. But until next time, everybody, sign you up.